Ladies and gentlemen, this is Darn the Playmaker Silence, and I'm coming to you real quick just to give you a heads up. New episode alert. March Madness is here. It's the round of 64. I have Gabe, Justin, and Alex from Unfiltered Access with me, and we did a good talk. A lot of insight and a look into what is it called March Madness. Sit back, relax. The audio's a little scratchy, got a little static, but you'll be able to hear the great insight that these guys brought to the table today. I hope you enjoy. Fill out your brackets because the madness is about to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got a special edition from the Playmakers podcast for you. As I begin the March Madness series, we're going to come around 64, and I have three guys with me from the Unfiltered Access group with me that writes about sports, and they decided to join me for the round of 64. I have Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Justin, how you doing?
Just another day, brother. Just another day.
And Gabe, how you doing? So, it's March Madness. NCAA tournament. The field is set, and we here to talk about it. To get us started, Mr. Alice, go ahead and get us started on the East region.
All right. So with the East region, as everyone, Duke as the number one overall seed, and they're the overall number one for the entire tournament. But I wanted to focus on a couple games where I think there could be an upset because, let's face it, that's what makes this tournament as much fun as it is. So first off, I don't really think that this is an upset that might shock anybody because it's the 8-9 game. I think UCF can beat VCU. I just think UCF matches up well with Taco Fall, BJ Taylor. And not going to lie, I'm a little biased because I go to UCF. But moving on to the next upset I actually have Liberty beating Mississippi State. I got to catch the last two games Liberty played in the conference tournament, and they looked really, really good. They're sound defensively. They only give up about 60 points a game. They were 4-6 against ranked opponents, so they played 10 ranked teams. Mississippi State, on the other hand, was 1-5. So I think going into the game, I think Liberty has a great chance to that one. And then someone would pick St. Louis over Virginia Tech, but I personally don't see that one happening. What I do see happening, though, is Belmont beating Maryland. If you watch the game, Belmont looked pretty good. They struggled at times, but once they got it clicking, it was over for Temple. Temple really couldn't come back. Then Yale. I think Yale has a good chance to beat LSU. LSU's not going to have their coach, which I think that's going to hurt LSU. Currently, I picked LSU. I've changed that pick a lot in the past couple days, but I could see why. I could see Yale winning that one as well. But those are the upset games. As far as that goes, I think chalk will prevail. I think the Elite Eight matchup is going to be Duke because I think those teams are far ahead of the rest of that bracket, and take them. I'm sure we'll talk about that more. Yeah, that's
all right. That's some interesting stuff there. Just maybe you got anything to say about the East?
The East is looking pretty stacked. I personally see LSU going pretty far. I mean, sure, we do have the suspension of Coach Wade, but man, LSU does have a lot of versatility. They do have Naz Reid, who is he is one talent that you should not ignore one bit. He's almost like a little mini Karl Anthony Towns out there for LSU, but also they do have good guard play from Tremont Waters. And I just see that chemistry with LSU. LSU made a lot of noise in the SEC this year. I didn't think they would go this to this magnitude, but still, I see Duke coming out of this. This is a Duke favored conference looks pretty easy going through as number one seed. If they do go against UCF, that may present a little bit of a challenge, but so far I got Duke coming out of the East.
Yeah, no, I have to agree definitely that this is Duke's region to lose, especially with Zion coming back. We saw his impact during the ACC tournament, how he was just able to take over games. But I'd actually watch out for that LSU-Yale game, because I think with all the controversy surrounding LSU and having their coach been removed, I think this is a prime opportunity for Yale to maybe snatch one of the early upsets. So I would look at that game very carefully. And my favorite matchup in this region is Louisville, Minnesota. I just cannot wait to see how the Pitino relationship works with Rick and his son. Rick will probably be in the stand somewhere, so it's going to be must-watch TV.
Yeah, I love where you're thinking with that. I love it.
Yeah, and I think in that one I got Louisville barely, but it'll be a great game.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking forward to Maryland, Belmont, LSU, yeah, because I'll actually be in attendance for both of those games.
Oh, absolutely. Nice.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm right here in Jacksonville. I will be there.
Amen.
Belmont is a scary team in that region.
Does your heart want Belmont to come out of this, or does your heart want Yale to come out of this because of that double-digit seeding?
To be honest, I actually like LSU. I'm a SEC guy. I'm a Florida fan, so I would like to see LSU try to make a run and bring some vanilla to that conference in basketball. But to be honest, I'm really looking at that Belmont upset right now.
Yeah, they did look good last night.
One thing I know about when it comes to the tournament being in Jacksonville's gonna give you an upset.
That is true.
When Georgia State came here, they pulled off the upset. I think it was Harvard. I think Harvard pulled off the upset when they came here. So
yeah, that is true. When Harvard beat was it New Mexico or New Mexico State that year?
I think it was New Mexico.
Yeah,
the one. I know, but when the tournament comes to Jacksonville, look for an upset to happen.
Who knows? There might be two coming out of that one. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jacksonville, I do, if in my Midwest region, which we could come in and talk about it later, but I do have an upset there, so we got a little foreshadow right there.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm with most of that. They got pretty much almost NBA players playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty great team.
But one thing that's interesting me, because I've been hearing about this, and I've seen it a lot. A lot of people are looking at Liberty to take down Mississippi State.
Yeah, I have that one. Can't remember I think they have a power forward. I can't remember his name, and he looked really good in the conference tournament. Now we'll see how. I think Liberty matches up well with that Mississippi State team. I think they can take advantage of them. It's going to be. I'm not saying this to say like Liberty's going to run away with it or anything. I think it'll be a close game where it could come down to like the last possession or last couple possessions. But I think it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, Mississippi State winning that, but I could easily see Liberty pulling off that upset. 100%.
Now, to be honest, Alex, you went on when they got UCF ties. I was there for a year, so
okay.
You in Illinois, UCF ties. I would like to see UCF go ahead and go against Duke in the round of 30.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to see Taco go up against Zion. I personally would be really conflicted because I've grown up a Duke fan because of Coach K. My dad went to West Point, and that's where Coach K played basketball. He coached there. I'd be conflicted in that game. I wouldn't know who to root for, but it'd be a lot of fun to see 7'6" Taco fall, guard the paint as Zion is coming in, running full speed.
That's the East. The East could be chalk. You might have a couple of upsets in there. We'll see how that one plays out. Now we're gonna go to the South, which is the region I covered on Unfiltered Access when you can catch the region breakdown articles there. Myself, Justin, Gabriel, and some others. We had one other person. In the South, top seed in the South is the Virginia Cavaliers, who are lucky to find a new captain because they got caught last year.
Yeah.
They got caught last year. Stunned everybody. But the South is so dynamic. We have 17 that are ranked in the top 20 in defense and points allowed. So they play good defense in this. You have 17s that can score 75 points or more per game, led by Tennessee, who is scoring 82 points a game. You have some dangerous Cinderellas. You have some dangerous dark horse teams. I mean, one of the upsets I'm looking at Wisconsin getting caught by Oregon. Oregon is hot. After what they did to Washington in that Pac-12 championship game and winning 4 games in 4 nights, watch out for Oregon. Oregon is coming. Another upside I'm looking at the 4-13, UC Irvine, a 13 seed who has won 30 games.
Yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah.
They can shoot the ball.
Have you ever seen a 13 seed and have won 30 games?
Yeah, that's a disrespect by the committee right there. They might take it personally.
Yeah, they're disrespecting Pac-12 and that Power 6 conferences. So, I'm rooting for Oregon right now.
So, we'll be without D Wade, a big man. I'm looking at UC Irvine.
Oh yes, sir.
For sure.
That's right, Irvine. Yep, 30 wins. 30 wins, pretty good. They got shooting. They got Max Hazard, don't they? They do have Max Hazard on that squad.
Yes, that do.
A little bottle of energy right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't call it. I'm not gonna say. I'm not putting this one as an upset, but this one is very interesting. St. Mary gets first chance at the defending champs Villanova in the 11-6 matchup.
That is a good one. Villanova is a little
interesting one.
tricky. They did lose to Seton Hall earlier in the season, but they did redeem themselves by finishing off strong. So we'll see about that. St. Mary's does have the capability to run the table, though.
I'm not gonna pull it because that's the defending champs, and I knew it. And I said on previous podcast with my brother Ken Moore that Jay White was gonna get that team together at the right time, and he got them next time.
Yeah, the fact that they won the Big East and the tournament again is just you can't doubt Jay Wright or that team anymore. So it'll be a close game, but yeah, I got them surviving that first round game.
And the thing is, they the 6 seed, so they ain't really looking at them right. They looking at Virginia and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now this group they can just play ball.
What I think is fun about this region is it kind of plays into Virginia's hands in a way because I think it's 60% of the teams that are in this region all like to play really, really slow, which is what Virginia's defense is perfect at stopping. Tennessee is really the only team that likes to push tempo, right? So playing slow plays into what Virginia wants to do. Virginia wants to slow you down, play really, really good defense, and stop you that way. They don't want a team that's flying up and down the court. So this region, you could see Virginia kind of, I don't want to say cakewalk, but I think you could see them succeed at a high level.
What? Purdue don't look the same. Carson Edwards, he's struggling. He's struggling to score on the ball lately.
I have Purdue losing in the second round to Villanova. But my big upset in this region is I have Cincinnati beating Tennessee.
Ooh, yeah.
See, Cincinnati is a team
Nope, they're hot.
I want to play at this moment in time. They sent the message when they play Houston for the American Championship.
Yeah, no, they're
That's the
definitely
team you
hot.
want.
They got it going. I have them going all the way to the Elite Eight.
I'm put on a show,
Mm-hmm.
dropping 30 on Houston. But that brings me to Tennessee. I can't pull that one because
Tennessee, the entire starting lineup scores double figures.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of talent there on Tennessee. A lot of scoring. The fact that they dominated the SEC the way they did, like that potential matchup with Cincinnati, if they can get through that, I can see them winning this side of the bracket. I'm really looking forward to Virginia, Tennessee, possibly in the Elite Eight, which would be the contrast of styles that we were talking about. But Cincinnati is exactly like that, like Virginia. They'll press, they'll just grind you down to a T. So if Tennessee can survive that, it'll be tough. But I could see them going all the way to the Final Four.
No, I have Tennessee coming. I just see too much on that starting lineup. They have speed. They have athleticism. Grant Williams is a man who you need to watch out. He has the potential to raise his stock up this March. He's already proven himself to beat who did he beat within this year? He beat North Carolina and Virginia Tech twice.
Yeah, no, that's a big win.
That was Virginia. But they beat, what was it? The Volunteers ended up beating the Bulldogs of Gonzaga and the Wildcats. They beat Kentucky twice.
They beat the Wildcats twice.
You know how Calipari prepares his teams.
Colgate haven't made the tournament since '96, and I think they picked the wrong time to make the tournament. Because after what Auburn did to Tennessee in that ACC game,
that is true.
You do
Tennessee
not want to
just
right now.
got demoralized off of that loss from Auburn, but Auburn is very much a dark horse in and of itself. They were able to catch fire within the SEC tournament, and I think that became a surprise for almost everybody. I remember the group chat that we had, and then somebody made the announcement that Auburn was SEC champs, and I was just in complete disbelief. I had Tennessee coming out of that.
That was one hell of a run.
And speaking of Auburn, they in the Midwest, so let's go to the Midwest.
We got two big favorites, which is obviously your 1 and 2 seed. North Carolina, of course, the Tar Heels are back. They're back and better than ever. They're led by, of course, Roy Williams, who is a seasoned, to say the least, and a North Carolina coach. He has made it to the Elite Eight for the past 3 seasons. Has been in the Elite Eight 3 times, 2 Final Four appearances, and has cut down the basketball nets and brought home the championship back to Chapel Hill 3 times. And I'm telling you, I think that coaching within the college basketball environment is so vital. It is the most important asset within a squad's disposal. Without having the coaching and the experience from Roy Williams and even Coach Calipari, which I'll get into later with Kentucky, they're not able to adjust without a seasoned and legendary coach, because these 2 teams are freshman dominated throughout the entire roster. You got Kobe White, who is a projected lottery pick, and you also have Nazir Little, who is having an amazing freshman season. The Tar Heels are a force to be reckoned with. And then we got the Wildcats of Kentucky, man. Jeez, Calipari is back at it again with all those freshmen, but I'm telling you, Tyler Hero, watch out for Tyler Hero in the playoffs, or deep into this bracket. Tyler Hero will come to life, and he will knock down shots in the clutch for this team.
So I have a hot take. Kentucky's getting beat in the second round by Wofford.
Ooh.
That is a hot take because I have Wofford as one of those dark horses. Wofford is an team.
Wofford is that team. I think Wofford and New Mexico State are both getting to the Sweet 16.
Wofford is the most disrespected 17 I have ever seen in this tournament.
I do have New Mexico State going into the Sweet 16. New Mexico State is a 12th ranked 30-win team.
They should be the 10 seed in my opinion, around there.
We're talking about UC Irvine being a 13 seed and a 30-win team. What about New Mexico State being a 30-win team and a 12 seed as well? Another disservice, but
then they got the matchup with probably the hottest SEC
So
team in
that is
the whole country
probably
right now.
the game that you must circle on everybody's calendar that day.
For sure. So, and then if New Mexico State wins, and they would probably play Kansas, New Mexico State almost beat Kansas in Kansas, and that was when they had Vic. Now they don't have that. Now they don't have Vic, and it's at a neutral site. I'm taking New Mexico State in that game.
I'll take New Mexico State too, and it's in Salt Lake City. They got this.
Dang, that's New Mexico State fans. So
Well,
wait,
I'll
say
tell you this,
Utah?
another
Oh
matchup
boy.
that I find interesting is the Washington-Utah State matchup. Washington just came in second in the Pac-12 tournament. They're coming in hot, even though they did lose to Oregon in dramatic fashion. But I do have Washington getting out of that game alive if it is upset. Granted, an 8 to 9 seeded match, but North Carolina most likely could get out of this region pretty scratchless. But Kentucky and Wolford.
Watch out for Houston. I have Houston. I have Houston coming out of this region.
Yo, I'm looking for something to have that team ready after what Cincinnati did to them. If I'm Georgia State, you better bring your A game. Because if you walk in Tulsa and you on your B game, you might get beat by 20. Because Houston is going to be on a mission.
After that performance in the championship game against Cincy, where they came out flat, Houston's going to go on a run, and I think they're going to get to the Final Four. I think they're going to beat UNC in that Elite Eight matchup. I saw them play in person when Houston came here to UCF, and those boys are fast.
Ooh.
They are fast. I just don't think anyone's going to be able to keep up with them.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if they get past Georgia State and then presumably they play Iowa State. That Houston-Kentucky matchup is going to be really, really fun basketball to watch. Both really athletic and high-flying teams. So I got Kentucky getting out of that one and then facing North Carolina, but I can very easily see Houston going there. They're very underrated.
Was it Alex or Gabriel that spoke highly of Wolford? Because I actually have Seton Hall coming out of that one.
Yeah, that's another close game, definitely.
That's definitely going to be a close game.
Seton Hall has a pretty good resume. They did beat Villanova earlier in the season, and they came in, if I'm not mistaken, third in Big East or America. Is it Big East play? Yes, Big East play.
Yeah. No, they're a tough Big East team, man.
A lot of people have picked Seton Hall over Wolf, and it's not like, wow, I have never seen a 17 be so good ever since I started watching this. I'm like, wow,
I think they're slept on because no one's heard of them. Right? Wolford's not on national television every week. You know, they're not in a big conference like the Big East or the ACC or the SEC. So I think that's the biggest reason why people aren't talking about them is because they just don't know about them. But if you do your research, this Wolford team can play.
Wolford is within the same type of bracket category as teams like Murray State and Wichita State. So, yeah, I guess that is true. We do not get that much exposure with Wolford, but I'm going to be excited to see what they could do.
I got no thing. When I watched that game, that second game in Chapel Hill against Duke, and Kobe put on a show. I said that's what I was like, yeah, because you already got this many captains. Who's gonna be that underclassman that's gonna show up when the game is on the line? The spotlight is bright. Kobe Wright was trying hardest not to lose that game.
Also, the Wildcats have high flyers like Keldon Johnson. Man, Keldon Johnson is an athlete, and we'll see if his youth can shine within this first weekend. But I'm excited to see Keldon Johnson, who's also another projected lottery pick. This Carolina and Kentucky have all these young guns and freshmen. I'm excited to see what they can do under pressure.
Another thing that's been interesting to me when most people talk about upset, they talk about Ohio State catching Iowa
Ohio
State.
State does have opportunity to upset. I'm most intrigued by watching Luther Muhammad out of Ohio State. He is able to slash. He's a great quality wing player, but I'm waiting to see if he can make that next step. He was instrumental. He was a really great high school recruit coming out of high school. So I can expect Ohio to potentially pull the upset on Iowa State. But then again, I do see Houston just getting out of that weekend and easy in the Sweet 16.
I personally don't understand why Ohio State is in the tournament. They went 1-8 against top 25 teams and 8-12 in conference. Like, why are they there?
That is
Yeah, I think they're there just because of their name.
So yeah, exactly. I think UNC Greensboro should be in over Ohio State personally, but I think Iowa State will win easy. I don't see that game being close.
I got Iowa State winning that game. So that I gonna lie, that Houston Iowa State game, that's a game I'm gonna go around the 30. Bracket 11. That's
Yes,
the West
sir.
region.
So let me just to get right into it. It's a crazy region right here. So you got the three teams at the top that are going to be the favorites. There's number 1 seed Gonzaga, which everyone knows about, led by 20-year coach Mark Few. They went amazing this year in the regular season. They had a perfect 16-0 conference record, but they ended up losing to St. Mary's in the WCC final. So they'll be playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And they're also led by a couple of really good players, mainly freshman forward Rei Hachimura, who's just put up insane numbers this year. He's averaging a little over 20 and 6 rebounds. So he's just been a really good player, and he's the type of player that can carry Gonzaga really far to finally winning the Final Four. So there's Gonzaga, and then there's also last year's runners-up in Michigan, who have a pretty stacked team. They started off very well, going 17-0, and really capped it off in the Big East tournament, playing well. So they're loaded with talent, including Iggy Bradzikis, who I don't know if you guys have seen, but he loves to troll the fans every time he is at the other arenas. It's pretty great, and they have a Hall of Fame coach as well, and John Beeline, so they're going to be pretty ready. And the other very surprising powerhouse in this region is Texas Tech. Texas Tech ended up co-winning the Big 12, which ended up snapping a 14-year run by Kansas. So they're a very athletic team led by Jared Culliver. They also have this guy from St. John's, Tariq Owens, who I really liked. I'm a St. John's fan, and he transferred there to begin the year. He's a really good shot blocker. So they have all the pieces that they need if they want to make a deep run. So those are the favorites going into this region, but there are a bunch of sleepers and a bunch of great storylines. You got Murray State with John Morant, who's probably going to be a top 3 pick. And they're playing Marquette in the first round. So Murray State and John Moran will be matched up with Marcus Howard, which will be a crazy matchup. So looking forward to that. There's also the Syracuse Baylor first round, which is very, very tight. Syracuse always plays that zone, which messes people up. And then you have Buffalo, one of the best teams, won over 30 games, has a great player in Jeremy Harris. They'll be facing the winner of Arizona State, St. John's. That game's tonight. So if they could win that game, I could see them making a good push at Michigan and other teams like that. But I think it's really going to be Gonzaga versus Michigan to end that bracket. I just think those are the 2 most talented teams, and I see Gonzaga getting through. But there's plenty of upsets to be had here, and a lot of intriguing first round matchups. So I'm can't wait to hear what you guys think about this side.
Before I let everybody dive into this one, can I go on my soapbox for a minute? The tournament isn't just for Florida, right? UCF made the tournament. Yeah. Florida State made the tournament, and Florida made the tournament. How made one of them made it to Jackson?
That's a fair question.
Trust me, I will.
I was Florida. How Florida State didn't make it? I was in Florida and
Yeah, I
Florida
don't know.
State.
The committee messed up on that one.
I was hoping UCF would end up in Jacksonville, but I was
They ended up
disappointed.
in South Carolina instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida State has to go to Hartford to play.
Not only do they have to go to Hartford, they have to play a New England team in Connecticut.
Yeah, Vermont's a scary team to play in the first round. So, we'll see how that goes.
No, that's for sure not neutral ground, that matchup.
Yeah.
A 4 seed ain't got to go up north. But you got Cincinnati in the South region as a 7 seed, and they going to Columbus.
Yeah.
NCAA needs to figure it out.
I mean, the brackets are never correct. They're never. Not everyone's going to be happy. We all know that seeding is always a debate, and location-wise is always a debate. But this is why they call it March Madness, baby.
I just had to get about real quick because that bothered me so much.
With this region, I think you should Sharpie Buffalo and Murray State into the Sweet 16.
Oh,
yeah.
Ja Morant, trust me. Ja Morant is gonna down Howard and Marquette.
I am sorry. I am sorry, but I do agree with you on that Marquette matchup. But I disagree with you on that Buffalo.
Buffalo's gonna get past Culver. I think Buffalo should be like a 4 or 5 seed. I don't think they should be a 6 seed. But
this kid Culver, man, he is something else. I saw him play against Zion and Duke in the Garden. I wasn't there present, but I saw that game, and Culver went bananas. It was just a shame that he lost that game. There was a couple plays that just didn't go their way, but Culver pulled his weight, and he is a big-time star. He is a big-time star, man.
Yeah, I see. I for Murray State and Buffalo, I only have Murray State going through. For Buffalo, for them to have to play Texas Tech in the second round is very hard. And like y'all said, Culver is just going to be a mismatch nightmare for whoever Murray State throws down low. So Buffalo. But yeah, no, I could see Murray State as the one making the run because of Morant and because of the way they shoot the ball. But it'll be tough. That's why I have Gonzaga and Michigan in the finals in this region, because the top teams I just feel are just a little bit better than the potential stars.
I ain't gonna lie. When my Gators beat LSU, I was happy. I say that's it. My Gators are in the tournament.
Amen.
So listen, see their name. They gave us.
Well, I mean, Nevada is good. Caleb Martin can turn it on whenever he wants.
yes.
Yeah.
He is a scoring mismatch nightmare. He is a problem on defense. You are worried about him. You are making sure that your eyes are not away from this kid. He is something else.
Right.
I'm like, yo, out of all the things y'all could have gave us, y'all gave us Nevada. Good God. We have and then if we smile upset, we got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I was talking the last time Florida played Michigan.
No, yeah, it's gonna be a tough game from Michigan, but I think this region, out of all the regions, has the most intriguing or up in the air first round games, just in terms of the matchups and how teams are gonna be put up against each other. It's gonna be really fun to see who comes out of this region.
In a round of 32 will probably be the most high scoring game in the whole entire tournament. Point. I think Buffalo scored about 100 points in about 70% of their games.
They average 85 points a game.
Wow, damn.
That's tremendous.
Yeah, they're gonna be a fun team to watch. Damn.
Yeah, I agree with you. Buffalo is not a 6.
They didn't know. No matter who wins out of Marquette and Murray State, your next matchup is most likely Florida State. That is a tall
Florida
team.
State is.
Point guard is like 6'5".
Yeah, they're definitely take the trophy for the lankiest team in the tournament right now.
Well, I mean, Florida did beat Virginia, so that is something to note.
Florida State can
They can
shoot.
shoot the ball. They can stroke it from.
How you can stop a great defense and like Virginia shoot the rock. They can shoot it. Dropping left and right. I'm saying here like Virginia can't do no better. Them balls just going
I
in the
mean,
roof.
Virginia is catered to playing in that half court style. So, I mean, if shots are falling against Virginia,
They're in trouble.
We're going to bring this back to the South. They're in trouble. I mean, that's the one thing. They're daring people to shoot the ball, and once that shot's falling, they're in thick ice.
I'm just saying that part of the region, Murray State, Marquette, Florida State, against what Buffalo and possibly Texas
be a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of good potential second round matchups and the Sweet 16 matchups. So a lot of good games to watch. A lot of interesting matchups for either whichever team wins in the first round. So I'm really looking forward to Buffalo, Texas Tech, and Murray State, Florida State. Those are the two most intriguing potential second round matchups. So we'll see if the little schools can get it done against the big boys.
Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's a long process. It's a hard, thought out process. Yeah, I know. I was there. From March of this year, thinking about how I'm going to do this, doing all my research, trying to get everything right. What platforms can we use and how we going to record it and how we going to make it sound good and make it all this happen. And then I came upon Anchor. The Anchor app on my phone, the easiest choice I could ever make to do a podcast. It's free to use. You don't got to pay for nothing. You can record episodes whenever you're ready. You can edit it and then you can release it when you want to. And you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to distribute it on other platforms because Anchor has partnerships with Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, whatever you name it. Because the Playmakers Ball podcast is the podcast that I use. We're on all them platforms. We're on 9 platforms just by using the Anchor app. So pretty much all the questions that you have questions about doing a podcast, go to the Anchor app or go to the Anchor website, anchor.fm.com, and just search through it, ask questions. Because I tell you, a free app that does all this, there's nothing more you can ask for. I even got friends, they doing their podcast on the Anchor app. Faith Talk, you might have heard of it because it's very good. And it's great that it's an app like this, it's a website like this that makes it easier for people to do podcasts and do what they love best, talking about the things that they love to talk about. So give Anchor a try, see how much you like it. We'll love to hear your podcast.
All right, so most of us got Duke coming out of the East.
I got Duke coming out of the East. That's for sure a landslide.
Yep, same here.
I got
I
Tennessee
have Virginia
coming out of the
I
South.
have Tennessee as well.
because I have Tennessee dropping.
I
to
second
Cincy.
Darnell. I'm with Tennessee. I got the Volleys.
Dude, I'm sorry. One thing I know about the tournament, when you have that, that's a team you got
I just think Tennessee is a team that's hungry. I think that their program has been hungry for some tournament success. Virginia may be looking for redemption and have that fire in their belly, but then again, it's hard to trust a team that just got ousted out in the first game last season.
Yeah, but I think Virginia only gets through because I don't think Tennessee gets to them. I think Tennessee drops to Cincy, and then after that, I really don't think anyone else can really compete with that Virginia team outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's
Tennessee will be playing if it were to happen. Tennessee has the potential to be playing against Villanova, and Jay Wright will prepare his boys. So that is another hard task because Cincinnati is a tough roadblock in and of itself.
For sure.
Adding on Villanova. So yeah, Tennessee does have a hard road, but I am not questioning their
I would say the West region has the most interesting, but the South is can pretty much be so wide open. You
Oh,
don't
for
know
sure.
what's
When I
happening
was-
when it comes to the
it-
South.
Because
it's-
Oregon can make some noise even Irvine.
Irvine, yep.
Oof.
Who knows? St. Mary's could show up like they did against Gonzaga. And Old Dominion's not a slouch either against Purdue at that 14 seed. So this region is going to be fun because we could see a whole lot of upsets coming out of here.
Yep. And it wouldn't really be an upset, but I could also see Villanova just with all their experience winning the region, just with all their talent. It's just, why not? I've been doubting them all season long, but they've proven me wrong time and time again. So a potential Villanova Tennessee game would be crazy, but we'll see.
I see that. The thing is, I think the fact that with the possibility that they're gonna have to play a motivated St. Mary's, because we all know when you're the defending champ, you're gonna get everybody the best shot. You the champions. I gotta take you out first.
St. Mary's is going to come in
St. Mary's
hungry. They're going to come in hungry. They're going to come in thirsty for blood against Villanova. But I'll tell you this right now: if I go, if I go back to my philosophy of coaching and everything, then if it makes sense, Villanova should be in the Elite Eight with Virginia. We got Jay Wright against Tony Bennett, so even then, that's something to behold.
It is. My thing is they're gonna run into Tennessee, and Tennessee's gonna be the one that's saying, "That's it. This right here." You're gonna get tired of taking the best shot from every team. That one team gonna catch it at the right time. I believe Tennessee gonna catch them at the right time because they don't have to went through pretty much about $100 that's giving them problems, and then you run into Tennessee.
That is true. Tennessee is one of those dark horses as well. Keep in mind, Tennessee is, even though they are a favorite, even though they are a number 2 seed, which is relatively high, they are strongly underestimated. They have energy and they are hungry. I'm interested to see how Tennessee plays.
Yeah, if they just had the history behind, because they've only been to one Elite Eight in their school's history in basketball. So if they had like the Kentucky brand behind them, then a lot of people would be penciling them in for the Final Four. So they're definitely under the radar. But this Southern bracket, it's gonna be a grinder.
Yeah,
I think we all can agree on North Carolina.
I don't have North Carolina. I have Kentucky.
I got Carolina.
Wow.
Coming in.
I got North Carolina playing Kentucky and North Carolina winning, but damn, that's gonna be one matchup right there in the final.
I have Houston blowing out Georgia State and then beating Iowa State and then meeting Wofford in the Sweet 16 and then Houston then beating UNC.
Oh, you got Houston in your four.
You got Houston.
Okay.
Yep.
I just see Coach Cal really getting his boys ready for this. I think the consistency from Cal to be able to take a freshman class and essentially take a brand new team to almost a good chance to being guaranteed a Sweet 16 or even Elite 8 is remarkable in and of itself. Coach Cal is a legend. He is somebody within the basketball culture that is respected. And I'm telling you, man, Coach Cal and Roy Williams, I'm going to see those two in the Elite 8, man.
I got to go with UNC because they balance. You got your freshman in white.
Yeah.
You got to see it.
They're the most complete team in that bracket. So I definitely – and Kobe White, but probably the most talented player in that bracket. So it's going to be tough for them to lose.
Don't forget, we have got Nazir Little, and we got is it Cam Johnson? Yeah, Cam Johnson went ham. He went bananas against Duke.
Okay.
Like I said, you got your leadership on the team with your young starters.
They are very balanced.
When you have a balanced team like that, look out!
Even though I see North Carolina with all that balance, we also got to wait on this PJ Washington injury as well, because Kentucky is going to take a big loss of PJ Washington, even shooting from 3, tremendous. But I mean, We still got a weekend. I think if they can get past either Wolford or Seton Hall, they have a good shot. But we also got to make sure that PJ Washington is 100%.
Yeah, that's a big loss if he can't go, definitely.
He brings experience, he brings outside shooting, and he brings just a different facet to the game.
I'm pretty sure Jacksonville is filled with Blue Nation right about now because they don't brought Calipari here.
Yeah.
And the West,
Zach-
man.
Yeah, I got Gonzaga coming through, but it's gonna be a tough one. I got Gonzaga over Michigan in the Elite Eight, but I can see Michigan winning that. I got Gonzaga though. It's gonna be a close game, but I think they have just enough talent this year with Ree and what's his name, Brandon Clark. Yeah, no, those two are a lot to handle for Michigan. So I got the Zags playing Duke in the Final Four.
It was hard. That was hard. I'm like, yo, Marquette can do something. Marquette can do something. Florida State can do something. Buffalo can score. Texas Tech can score. The winner of Florida Nevada probably gonna give Michigan a problem.
This West is a doozy. This West is something else.
It's crazy, yeah. No, and I'm just looking at the bracket really, and I feel like the middle teams that might end up meeting with each other. Like, it was so good for Gonzaga and Michigan to get the 1 and 2 seed because I feel that the others will just eat each other out, and by the end, like, they'll be gassed because these games are all ridiculous and it's going to be hard, high-scoring games.
Do you see any overtime games?
Ooh, yeah, I see potential first round Marquette Murray State overtime.
That's what I was going to
That'd
say.
be great. Yeah.
I see that, and then I could also see in the round of 32 Buffalo and Texas Tech going into overtime. Like,
Yeah,
real
definitely.
high scoring, back and forth.
I'll tell you this as the draft head. These 4 players, man. I'm telling you, John Morant, Rory Hachimura, Jared Culmer, and Howard.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Those 4
talent.
men, those 4 guys, those are. Be ready. Watch out for them come draft time because these guys are going to raise their stock. This is the time where draft picks or draft lottery projections are made. This is where the freshmen and from freshmen to seniors, they'll go in and they make their name. This is where you make your name, and I'm looking for them to really elevate.
Yeah, that's why I have Murray State going to the Sweet 16, but losing to Gonzaga. But if Murray State were to win those 2 games, I think it could elevate John Morant's profile so much higher than it even is right now. So, yeah, no, these games are important for all those top draft prospects.
Right now, if I had to pick an upset in each region, I'm picking Belmont over Maryland in the East. I'm picking Terra over Kansas State in the South. I'm going to the Midwest, Auburn. That's not that bad. I'm picking Auburn over Kansas. Because I think Auburn is that team that can shoot Kansas out.
Watch out for New Mexico State.
No, watch out for New Mexico State, man. They're 30-win, 12 seed. That's something to behold.
I know, but Bruce Brown got that Tiger team
They are
on a different
They are
level.
blazing right now. They are blazing.
And I'm gonna be honest. I'm picking Florida over Nevada.
Yeah, I got Florida beating Nevada too, but I only got them going 1 game, man, because Michigan's just too good. But you know, it would be a semi-upset if they were able to beat Nevada.
And the thing is, the Gators are a good defensive team. So if Nevada turns the ball over,
I don't know. It almost seems like in the West region, everyone's picking Murray State. I don't know if Marquette's saying that we're the underdogs now. I mean, geez. Keep in mind, too, that last time, like 1 year, I think it was the year Murray State had their best franchise record, and they had Isaiah Cannon. They lost to Marquette as well when Jay Crowder was on Marquette.
Yeah.
Was that the Marquette team that made the run to the Final Four, if not the Elite Eight? But
I believe so. I think that was a team with Jay Crowder and Darius Johnson Odom.
right.
Yeah, man.
Was that Jimmy Butler still?
Yeah, it was either with Jimmy Butler or not, but I remember for sure Jay Crowder was a man possessed that.
Yeah. So I kind of see what you're saying with Marquette thinking they're the underdogs, but if you look on ESPN, they tell you what percentage of people picked which team, and 58% of people are still picking Marquette. So we'll see. I like Murray State in that game.
Now, we know everybody's going to be looking for Zion. Cause my question is, who should really look at, or should I say, what player needs to have a good showing in the tournament?
I think the person that has the most pressure is actually his teammate, RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett just came out of the what is he? He set the record for most points scored in a freshman in Duke history.
Mm-hmm.
He's had, and given, and here I am with my Canadian pride coming in, but man, we're having a lot of trouble with Wiggins these days. So I'm hoping that RJ Barrett could be that new face, but we do have Jamal Murray carrying his weight. But I'm telling you, RJ Barrett trying to be that top 5 pick, I'm rooting for him, but I think he has the most pressure to show out because he was regarded as even better than Zion Williamson coming into the beginning of the season. So I think he's got a lot to prove. If he comes in with one game that is single digits, I will be disappointed.
See, I think you're right. It's one of Zion's teammates, but I actually think it's Cam Reddish. Because Cam, when Zion went down, Cam picked up the slack. Now that Zion's back, those couple games in the ACC tournament, we didn't really hear from Cam. He had a shot here and there, but you didn't really hear from Cam. So if Cam can come out and just start hitting shots like he did in the Florida State game, that'll be huge for him. I think he needs it more than RJ Barrett does.
100%. I could totally see that.
Yeah, I think the player with the most potential for movement is still John Morant, because I feel that a lot of teams have him as a potential top 5. But if he did make a run with Murray State, I could easily see him being the number 2 pick behind Zion, or just cemented as a top 3 pick. If he could show that he could have an impact overall, especially going against Marquette early on. So I think John Morant's stock will get either higher or flatline if they go 1 and out. But he definitely has a chance to go higher.
That's funny you mention it, because I actually think that Ja actually has the least amount of pressure behind all of this as well. So he's in a funny position because even though he is top 5, he is playing in a small program at Murray State. So in a way, no one has really Murray State coming out that far, but he has potential to blossom, but he has also the least amount of pressure behind it.
Right, which is why I could see Murray State making a run, because he has all this confidence behind him, knowing that about him being confident in himself and knowing that he can prove people wrong and not face a lot of backslash.
Now, if I may chime in on Stephen A. Smith's side, I'm looking at the guy who be going up against.
Yep.
Well, Marcus Howard.
Doing? If that whip ain't right, Marquette could be one and done.
I mean, no, him too. The winner of this game, basically Marcus Howard versus John Morant game, their draft stock will definitely rise.
So before we close out, my natural champion is North Carolina. Charles.
I have Duke over North Carolina, so sort of a redemption of the lost game where Zion blew out his shoe. We're going to have that rematch in the finals, and Zion will ball out, and Duke's got it.
I have Duke over UVA.
I have Duke over Tennessee, and I have RJ Barrett winning Outstanding Player.
Oh.
All of us got making it to the championship game.
They do have the best freshman recruiting class, and they have a generational talent in Zion Williamson. It's very hard to go against them.
Yeah, I was sort of doubting Duke before the ACC tournament, but after that, seeing Zion ingratiate himself, and along with Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett, they're just going to be too much to deal with. So I got Duke winning it.
I got no problem beating Duke because even though Zion fans came back and Duke beat North Carolina, they only won by 1 point.
Question. If Cam Reddish has a dud of a tournament season, does he declare to the draft or does he stay back?
See, I was thinking the same thing the other day. I think he should stay. Because
I think he can definitely benefit from that. Yeah.
Prove yourself. Come back your sophomore year. Prove yourself. Because you would be the guy next year. You know, you're a sophomore. Yep. You have a fresh team. You're the veteran now. Prove yourself. Be the guy.
Yeah, I'm on board with that, definitely, especially since Zion and RJ are definite locks to go. He'd be the focal point, and it would only help him with his NBA future. So
I just hope he doesn't end up – because if he does declare for the draft, he could potentially end up as like a Frank Jackson or a Trayvon Duval even type of Duke player, and we just pray that doesn't happen to Cam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want him to go in the second round or fall to like a team that'll mismanage him like that. So, yeah, 1 more year is better.
Yeah.
Alex,
Of course, man.
It's fun. Thanks for having us.
Yep.
So don't forget, this got the breakdowns with each region from East, South, Midwest, and West. And enjoy the tournament. I'll be in Baltimore Arena tomorrow to catch some of the game. I'll be back Saturday to preview the round of 32. Until then, y'all have a good day.